What's up, guys? Welcome to the Dad Edge Podcast, and Happy New Year! It's 2020. What are you guys up to for this new year? What are y'all doing? What are the New Year's resolutions? Maybe working on the marriage, working on a little health, little financial fitness, whatever it is. You might like today's show because it's about sexy time. It's about sexy time. I podcast for a reason, and that's because I would never make it on America's Got Talent or on whatever that show was, The Voice, or I don't know. With Simon, that guy, Randy, Jackson, I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm too distracted because of today's subject, and today's subject is how can we connect better on an intimate level, physical level, emotional level with our women in 2020. And I've got the perfect guest for it. I have on Alana Pratt, she is an expert when it comes to this. She's an intimacy expert, and she inspires open-hearted living with sass. She's sassy. It's pretty cool. She's inspiring. She's vulnerable. She has courage, and she has landed a weekly feature on the Good Men Project. She's also featured as an icon of influence and has been a guest expert on the Jenny McCarthy Show, the Huffington Post, People Magazine, Forbes, CBS, TLC, and Fox. Yeah, this woman she's the jam. I'm not going to lie. She brings so much excitement to this topic. She brings so much insight and just amazing information. Like, when I got done recording this show, I felt so many things click as far as just the nuggets that I've learned over the several years. And it was almost like when I was talking to her, I really everything came full circle. And I'm like, man, this makes so much sense. So in today's show, what she's going to go over are several different things. One is, how can we articulate what we truly need, want, and desire in a confident way and not a needy way? I know you guys are listening to this show. If you're anything like how I used to be, and still am a little bit to some degree, but not so much anymore, we have problems with asking what it is that we truly want and we truly desire because we don't want to be rejected. So she's gonna teach us how to not do those things and how we can ask for what we've always wanted and do it in such a way that it's confident. And how we also need to make our women feel safe and certain, because that's their biggest need. And how we can also remove the fear of rejection from all of our conversations. And when we ask for anything inside the bedroom, outside the bedroom, even in life, in the workplace, all those good things and so much more on this particular show. I'm happy to say also that there's this new thing called YouTube, and it's sweeping the nation. So I've been so into audio for the past 4.5 years. I've totally missed the mark on YouTube. If you want to start watching these interviews and, maybe checking out people way more attractive than myself, like Allana, you can head on over to the Good Dad Project YouTube channel, where I am now posting these podcasts over there. So if you want to watch us interact, if you want to watch interviews pretty much from here on out, you can do that over there as well. Not just on your phone and in the car, but you can actually watch. So it's pretty cool stuff. I'll have a link in the show notes for my YouTube channel. But before we get started on this show, here is the iTunes Review of the Week. Well, Jay Merrick, I appreciate you, man, because you have impacted lives as well. So sounds like the DEA has impacted your life. You have impacted ours. So I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being a listener, a supporter, a mastermind brother as well. And guys, if this is something you've been wanting to do, we do have a Dad Edge mastermind that we've been doing now for 4 years. I can't believe it's been 4 years. And the men in there are thriving. And we meet virtually in group settings via Zoom So not only can you talk to everybody, but you can see everybody. All of our teams are led now by 2 people, a captain and an accountability commander. So not only are we learning from each other, but we take drastic action in our life. If this is something you want to do in 2020, jump aboard, man. Let's do this, because we are creating epic lives. All right, no more talk from me. Here is my conversation with the one, the only intimacy expert, Alana Pratt.
And a banana.
I need Canada. That's easy. Okay, cool. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's up, Alana? Banana. It's good to talk to you. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm so excited to have this conversation. It was amazing meeting you. There's some people have more presence than others. I'll just say it. And it's certainly been an edge for me to become more present with people. But as soon as I met you at Exchange, I'm like, dude, who are you? You're cool. Let's see how we can impact humanity together. And then when I found out who you were and what you did, I'm like, are you effing, can I say swear words on yours?
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we have aligned messages and impacts, and we can serve each other's communities. So like, super grateful to be here. So grateful that I even wore my rock and roll all night.
Oh my God. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm in the mood. It's awesome.
It is awesome. And by the way, if you start every show like that, I'm a big, my love language is words of affirmation. So if you are free at 3:15 Central every day, we can just hop on and,
well, get this, and party every day. Can you see the back of it?
I can. Oh man. So, my God, we already got questions rolling in from the Dad Edge group on Facebook. So I'm going to try to make this a little bit interactive on the Dad Edge group on Facebook. So, hey guys, welcome to 2020 for the Dad Edge podcast. For those of you guys who are in the Dad Edge group on Facebook. So guess what? You don't have to wait till 2020, because we are streaming this live in the Dad Edge group on Facebook. So we're actually going to make this a little bit interactive. But we are talking to Alana Pratt, who is an intimacy specialist. And I'm going to put all your intro and all that good stuff on the front end, as you guys already heard it. But this is something that is really, really, did I say really? Really important to us men and to our relationships. Yeah. And the bottom line is there are a ton of gaps when it comes to, I don't know how to speak that language. I'm not sure how to connect. I'm not sure, do I love her this way? Should I love him this way? Or there's all kinds of questions. So let's just start real quick.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious. How did you even get into this space?
I was really messed up.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. So let me see. Small town Canadian girl. I was a model in Japan in my 20s. I fell in love with my first husband. I've had 2 husbands. He was, Wall Street guy. So I did the look good, rich wife thing, lived in Connecticut, went to Columbia University, super smart girl, dying inside. This spiritual, sensual woman. There was no space for me. So I just, looked good until I just couldn't do that anymore. And I had to be my authentic self. And that wasn't the box that I agreed to get into with that marriage. So we completed, no harm, no foul. Moved out to LA, found more of my spiritual people. So I'm like, okay, so I've got this skill set here. I'm a really good listener. People tell me things they've never told anybody else, sometimes not even themselves before. I seem not to judge crazy shit that people tell me. And I help them, heal their shame, connect to their truth, sit in the fire, emerge as their authentic self, and their lives change for the better. So first I said, I think I'll be a coach. And this was before Coaching Federation. I just put like a shingle on my door and said, great, I'm going to be a coach. And then I called myself a relationship coach. And then I was just coaching women, because that's when I first had a baby. And that was my second divorce. And my mother died and I hit rock bottom and I needed to find my mojo again. So I'm like, you got to teach what you're here to learn, right? So I was teaching women how to come from fullness, put the oxygen mask on first. When mama's happy, everybody's happy. I was walking my own talk, coaching women. And then the second divorce turned into a really bad custody battle, like a 12-year custody battle, like lose your house, lose your assets, go into $250,000 debt, lose your son, like that kind of custody battle. Not very good. So I kind of didn't like men for a while. And so the universe said, oh, careful, she's going to go bitter. We need to help her. So all of a sudden I got all these male clients and with relationships. I'm like, oh my God, men are good. Men have beautiful hearts. Men have tender hearts just like me. So I got healed in the coaching of men for a while. I was like on Eben Pagan's, like Double Your Dating, or I guess David D'Angelo, you call him, whatever. Okay. But I got all these skill sets of how to talk to men about their hearts. And then now I've been at this for 20 years. Now I coach men, women, and couples in intimacy, in having this intimate relationship with yourself, because intimacy is an inside job. First, it's about our truth, transparent, honest, no judgment, no criticism of self. Then we can have that communication with another. So that's sort of like the long and short of how I got here, because I needed help and I was taking courses. And then I started to teach what I really needed to learn.
I didn't get to talk to you nearly as much as I wanted to when we were in Cleveland together getting our Appreciative Inquiry Exchange certification.
Yeah.
More on that. We won't get into the weeds on that, but I will tell you this. Our stories are a lot alike in the fact that the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is it came out of struggle, and it came out of like, I just want to know how to do this. So maybe the best way to learn how to do this is to learn as much as I can, share it. And that's what this podcast is all about, is like, I always say, like, I'm the host, but I'm the host because I want to be the first in line to learn. And then the audience, we get to learn together, which is super cool. And just to give you some history on this particular show. So we have done so many shows. We've done, I think we've done over 220 shows. Actually, you are number 249.
Nice.
And yeah.
Do I win a prize?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So out of 249 shows, I think we've had on, we probably have had on 10 women, and it's not necessarily that's the direction we want to go. But here's the funny thing is, every time I have a woman on to talk about this topic, the downloads are always within the top 10. So I know that this is a huge important topic. So let's start with this. I think most men who listen to this show are married, and they're in that relationship where there's a significant other, or they're seeing somebody. But there's most of the men, I've been in this space for 7 years. You've been in this space for a long time. I think we both sort of know the problems. On my end, I was so happy to hear that you have found the goodness in men, because I see the goodness in men too. Like the guys who come and do life with us, they have good hearts. And what I've seen is over and over, and the quote I use all the time is, men always want to work on the things under their own roof first. Right? Men are not these evil dudes who are just like, well, I'm not getting it here, might as well get it somewhere else. They genuinely, for the most part, I think most men really want to work on the stuff under their own roof. So with the couples that you work with, what are the issues? What are the overall glaring issues that you always see?
Generally, first, he's shaming himself that his desire for sex is somehow bad, wrong, skanky, slimy, whatever. He's not free to communicate his needs, number one. Or he is, but he doesn't know how to deal with the feedback, the communication coming at him of, I'm not in the mood, well, you didn't take out the trash, or you always want it, or like whatever she's going to say. He doesn't know how to respond, only react to that, and then either blame her, blame himself. So it's either self right out of the gate blaming, or blaming himself after the communication comes, or sometimes it's just like they haven't learned how to sit in the fire and burn and become better through conflict. They've decided conflict is bad, don't, if it's not broken, don't fix it, or I'll just pretend I'm fine when I'm not, or like it's kind of like a coward kind of energy, but he wouldn't call it that. He'd call it excuses. But really what it is I haven't learned how to be a phoenix emerging out of the flame when conflict is there. I skedaddle, I hide, I pretend. So it's normally one of those dynamics that at the moment of choice, he goes south. Does that make sense?
No. In fact, I disagree with all that. In fact, none of that is true. All of it is true, for crying out loud. Like, I feel like you just got inside my head. I'm like, oh, yep, there's that. Let's go to the desire thing first.
Okay.
All right. So I'll give you
my perspective, and I think a lot of the other guys' perspective, I think, yeah, there's that risk in being authentic and vulnerable of like, gosh, like I would, and call it whatever desire, whatever needs you have, even if it's not sex or whatever, even if it's like a desire, like, hey, I desire for us to be on the same page as parenting,
Yeah, sure.
or I do desire, like, hey, I love having sex with you. I desire to have more sex.
Yeah,
And before we say something like that, most men are like, oh, pump the brakes. If I
exactly.
say this,
Exactly.
what is she going to think of me? What is she,
Mhm.
am I going to come across needy?
Yep.
Am I going to come across as like, God, you want it all the time? That's all you think about.
Yep.
Like all these things. And I was like, and for most guys, it's
Yep.
just like, actually, no, I really care about you. And I
Yeah.
really just like being with you and I want more of that. But then again, I don't know. It's like that rejection thing, like over and over.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to take.
Yeah. And here's I don't know if it's a tough pill to swallow. You so far so good with this conversation. So here's the deal. The degree to which you hesitate is the degree to which you will receive hesitancy from her. The degree to which you are doubting yourself is the degree to which she will doubt you, push you away, question you. Like you're creating her. And here's the deal, like I'm a super science geek. So I just got back from heart math in Cancun, like anywhere that I can have like major quantum physicists prove my intuition, I'm like, yes, I'm all over it. So I can, like you can measure the degree of incoherence, out of alignment, resistance to self, doubt of self, questioning of self, hesitancy of self. That inner area will be holographically imprinted, projected out into the world. And she will be your worst case scenario, your nightmare. Exactly what you're afraid she's going to say, she'll say, because you created it inside of yourself. Does that make sense? That's a lot of responsibility to take. It's way more fun to blame her. I know.
It's absolutely terrifying, but go on.
But that means you can take all your power back. You're creating the whole show. If you can, and that's the deep work that I do with people, integrate shame, integrate guilt, integrate hesitancy, integrate doubt. That's all that I do. See, you can't get rid of fear. You can't get rid of shame. You can only integrate it. That's science too. You can't create or destroy energy, only change it. Okay? So all this like, no, I'll just push it away. What you resist persists and grows. Oh, no, I'm just going to put sprinkles on top of the ice cream cone of shit. No, I'm just going to pretend I'm fine when I'm not. It's going to grow. So what you got to do is lean in, sit in the fire, do these processes that I've been trained in. Because I couldn't do this either, by the way. I was a hot mess, okay? So, and I still am a hot mess, but whatever. I'm not as hot. Not as much of a mess. So we integrate all these lower vibrational thoughts, behaviors, emotions, body sensations, all the things that are going on, integrate them into, no, I am who I am. If she rejects me, great. If she doesn't, great. My worth, my centeredness is not based on her behavior. I am the master of my reality. I regulate my own emotions. I know who I am. I'm centered. It's sort of like I'm untouchable, but completely present and completely embodied. That's where you get to. And then the authentic urge comes up to want to talk about parenting, to fuck her brains out, whatever it is. I forgot to ask, could I swear? I can't remember. I've been on 2 interviews already today. One I could swear and one I couldn't. Anyways, it's too bad. It's so sad. It's late now.
We just ended this show, and
I'm
you're
sorry.
fine. You're fine.
Okay.
I try to usually keep it. I'm trying to do a better job of
Cleaner.
keeping
All
it
right.
clean on my end. My end.
Okay. I'm sorry. I
But
should have
but
said
no,
that.
you're good. My producer always, if it's explicit, I've had Garrett White on this show. Hey, do you know who Garrett White is?
No.
Oh, he screams at one point. So he's the founder of Wake Up Warrior. At one time during the interview, he has chains hanging from his studio. At one point in time, he was so angry that he took the chains and started beating the wall behind him and screaming all. I've had the plethora of
What did you
you're
say to
good.
him? Elicit that response. My word.
I told him off. I'm kidding. He's a very, any guy, most of the guys who listen to the show know who Garrett White is. I like Garrett White a lot. I actually talked to him quite a bit. He's a great guy. He's very intense.
Intense. Yes.
He believes wholeheartedly in what he's doing. So he's very intense in his delivery.
Super great. Well, I'm very
Yeah.
intense about my passion about having great sex, because I really think it fuels the whole marriage and family and purpose. I think it's everything, in terms of letting the energy come through. So back to the beginning, when we can integrate these areas of shame into presence, and you can just totally express who you are. There won't be any energy in the space. She's not going to smell a rat. She's not going to go, you're being incongruent here. What's up? She's going to feel your presence and respect you. And then you can be with whatever truth she has. And that's actually really sexy, which is probably going to get you more sex because she respects that. If she's looking for you to be the pole and she's the flag, let's say, and you're a wobbly pole, why would she want to open her vagina, her heart, and her soul to you? She doesn't trust you. She doesn't feel safe. But if you can just own what you own, even if you get rejected and not go anywhere, maybe even have some humor around it, that's hot. That's like, oh, fine, come here, let's do it. Come here. You know, she'll be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we like role play just a little bit here? Because I want to, so let me add some context here. And when I say role play, guys, that's not what I'm talking about. Just relax. What I mean by this is I'd like to kind of role play what I think most men would say, hey, this is what my normal discussion with my wife looks like. This is what it looks like. This is the reality. Yeah. And then what I'd like to do is like, hey, can you show us how to improve that? Can you show us what good looks like? Super good. Let me share this here real quick. We run a mastermind community called the Dad Edge Mastermind Community. And every month we have content that we break down into 4 or 5 weeks. We just actually finished a 7-week series on optimal communication within marriage. So every week we teach our guys the skill set. 2 weeks ago was how to communicate your desires effectively. Great. I'm not going to go into what I asked for, but I've known my wife for 23 years. We've been together for 16. We've been married for 16 years. And there was always one thing I was like, I have always wanted to do this. And, you know, it's pretty tame, but I'm not going to go into it for the sake of our private life. But I will say this. I was like, through that context, I was like, you know what? My asking for this is not tied to her outcome. And she has every right to say absolutely no to this. And I'm not tied to whether this is good or bad, or I'm good or bad, or I'm not going to take it as a rejection if she says no. It's just like, hey, she doesn't want to do it. No worries. But hey, guess what? I feel really good about it because at least I know that I'm completely an open door with her. I'm like, okay, hey, I at least asked versus like, I should ask, but she's going to say this, and maybe I won't, but she's going to say that. Yes. And here's what happened. I sat her down and in a very confident way. And I did put some humor in it, some self-deprecating humor. I was like, look, I've always wanted to do this, and you don't feel obligated to do it. I only want you to, because you want to with me. And if you're good with this, you know, hey, great. And she was like, yeah, I would do that. Why haven't you asked in the past? And I was like, are you serious? And again, it's nothing crazy, but I was just like, wow, could it really be that easy? And I definitely think that had I not learned, okay, you know what? I'm not tied to what she says. If she says no, it's not a reflection on me. It's just, it is what it is. Yes. And that was so calming and so reassuring. So can we go to the role playing thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me put like a little piece there
please.
And then let's do that. Your unattachment to the result, your willingness to be enough, whether she said yes or no, is like the key to the whole thing. We get that, right? You get that? Did you tell everybody that? That's how.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just laughing because there's a comment in the comment section that says, not many people can make me blush, but you did it. So true story. So going back to what I think most men would do in that situation, which I was too, I was like, man, I've always wanted to ask for this. I probably shouldn't, because she's going to think weird of me or poorly of me, or she's going to think this or that. So I'll just forget about it. Like, and then kind of like resent the fact that I just let myself forget about it. Or I do this where I'm like, I was wondering, if you're cool with it, only if you're cool with it. Don't think I'm weird. You see where I'm going, right? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
So
already whatever you say is no, because you're just being gross right now.
Thanks for the honesty. All right. So
but it's that gross energy. That's what I mean. It's like that weird, like, what are you doing? I don't feel safe. This doesn't feel good. Whatever it is, no. But you did the work, I'm asserting, to no longer define your worth by her approval or agreement.
Yes, exactly. So a guy who's listening, or the guys who are listening in the live feed, How do we get there?
Well, you
As,
do. Okay, so can I do a little mini? I'll do a little quickie. There's it's not like if you opened up your heart and you operated, you'd find like little you in there, but energetically, there is a little you who in the past has been rejected. It could have
sure.
been
Yeah.
5 years old, rejected for eating the cookie, too many cookies. It could have been a 15-year-old rejected for something in sexually. But anyways, there's a you in there that's been rejected. And if you don't go towards him and say, hey, dude, I'm sorry for sticking you in the closet. I'm sorry for avoiding you. I'm sorry for rejecting you. I'm sorry for making you the bane of our existence. And you're the reason why we're not getting the sex we want. Or like all that way we've treated ourselves. Instead, if you were to go towards that aspect of self and like he's in a closet, a dark closet, go in, close the door, literally throw away the key. So you're not going in there with a strategy so you can get what you want because you can smell strategy, right? This little you can smell strategy. Like you go in there and you throw away the key and you sit in the dark and you go, you know what? My job today is to love you unconditionally, which means without condition, which means if you're ashamed, scared, however you're feeling, mad, sad, I'm here to love you as you are for eternity. You have every right to feel the way you feel. I'm here just to be one with you now, forever. And I mean it. It's very different than going, oh, well, I'm just going to do this and do my little inner you work. And so I can have the sex I want. And that's a strategy. That's conditional love. I'll love you when you change. I'm talking unconditional. This is how we really integrate. That's a very short version of a longer process I take people through. But the idea is if you can go into this aspect of self, never wanting to fix them in order to be good enough, and you can sit with them forever. Instantaneously, that's a moment of grace. Instantaneously, that's a moment of coherence with the field. Instantaneously, something shifts. Really? You'd love me? Even if I felt like a loser forever? Even if she rejected us? We had to sit in that fire, you wouldn't reject me too? Really? You'd have my back no matter what? Even if she thinks we're a quack? Really? Oh, well, okay then. I'll come home into your heart. I'll come home into your presence. I'll come home into your centeredness. I'll come home into your groundedness. I'll come home into your spine. I will be with you. And so we will just be ourselves. We'll use humor as you did. And we're just going to be with what is. We're going to be unattached to the result. We're going to go through the fire together. And I hope it goes well. But if it doesn't, we still got each other's back. Let's do it. That's like home. You are home first. And then you make your request from wholeness, not attachment to the result or emptiness. She's not going to make you feel better. You're already home. And now it's just an invitation, an unattached invitation, which is the sexiest that they come. Make sense?
I'll take 2 of those to go, please. Thank you.
Well, that's good because there's a lot of little yous inside of us, right? Especially if we're into our 40s, 50s, or 60s. There's a lot of little parts of ourselves that we might have rejected or abandoned that need to be brought home so we can be even more present, even more magnetic, not just for sex, but for the way our kids listen, the way our clients respect us. It's all the same thing.
Damn. I don't think most men, me included, we don't think of stuff like that. We don't think of things in that way. We think of like task outcome, or like thing result, right? We don't necessarily think of like, okay, this is a process and no matter which way it shakes out, I'll be good, because men don't operate that way most of the time. But that's an incredible strategy and yeah, I think a lot of reasons why men don't really communicate what it is that they truly desire, and it could be anything. It's not just sex. It's other desires. It's other things that we truly want, is because like there have been points in our life where we've been shot down, rejected. And it's like, man, like status quo feels better to me than that. So like, I'm okay with status quo because I don't have to deal with that. But status quo doesn't feel great either.
No, it actually, to me, status quo is like torture, like eternal hell. I hate it. When I started to get good at alchemy, maybe is a good word, that, oh my God, when I sit in a fire and I don't disconnect from myself, that means I'm also not disconnecting from the field, the universe, God, whatever word works for you. And I feel held and whole and I'm stronger. This is crazy. I'm actually better because of challenge. I'm better because of conflict. I'm better because of obstacles. What? Then I had a totally new relationship. And this is also very science. We often clamor for pleasure and resist pain. But if we really like logically thought about it, too much pleasure is actually detrimental. You forget to pick up the kids, pay the taxes, like whatever, right? Too much pleasure is actually detrimental. And pain isn't all bad. That's how we build resilience, grit, perseverance, right? There's a benefit to pain and a disadvantage to pleasure. So one is not actually better than the other. So get off the roller coaster of fantasy that I got to clamor for more sex, so I'm finally blah, whatever. No, too much sex even is not healthy. And certainly not enough is not healthy either. But it's really about choice and balance when you no longer clamor to either side, and you can be that conscious being of choice in the middle, and not have other results, circumstances, people's opinions, their agreement, anything on the outside determine your worth or your centeredness. It's taking all of your power back. So that's coming in you, as you, and through you. It feels great. It feels grounded. It feels confident. It elicits respect from others. It's our birthright.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's science.
It is. It is. So we've talked about desires, right? And how to communicate desires. What is it that you hear that women need most from us?
Certainty. Even certainty in your wobbliness. Like you're certain that you don't know. Like a man that can go, that's a great question. I have no idea. I'm like, wow, I totally respect him, as opposed to, well, I think it's this way and we should try. I'm like, I don't trust you. I don't feel safe. I don't respect you. Move outside. And then I go into my masculine. And then I get crunchy and cranky. Rather than him going, hey, I messed up. I don't know. Well, let me figure that out. Let me get back to you. Oh, thank you. Okay, I trust you. I respect you. I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to surrender. I'm willing to let you have my back. So it's not an admittance of like you're a loser or broken. I'm not saying that. It's just a willingness to go, hey, I don't know, but I'll figure it out and I'll get back to you.
So guys, I would say most guys don't look at that as masculine. I would say the average guy, right? Because we're like, well, I can't tell her I don't know, because then what, right? But we can smell that a mile away. The other thing too, what's the balance between authenticity, vulnerability, and you're a little too much, you know what I mean? So like, I now know the difference between authenticity, vulnerability, and then kind of too much into like, let me share too much with you. Right.
Well, victim.
Right. So what's the balance there of being our real true self?
Yeah.
To where it makes us feel good.
Yeah.
It makes the women feel certain, if that's one of the greatest needs.
So it comes back to little you, that same thing again. When people are too much, too vulnerable, too transparent, too whatever, they're actually sharing about what's not going right with an agenda in order to get your sympathy, in order to get your compassion. There's an agenda there. They're sharing it to get something, to get attention. Okay. And that's slimy. That's offensive. That creates separation because it's needy. It's like these little needy tendrils going out. I'm going to share this so you feel sorry for me. So you'll give me sex. So don't worry that I didn't pay the bills for us this month. So whatever. Like there's an agenda to it. Pure vulnerability. I am whole and complete. I do not need your approval. I do not need anything from you. I am sharing what's true for me as an intimate sharing of our truths. I don't need an outcome. I don't need you to do anything. I'm okay. I'm just choosing to be real with you. Like, let's say you come home from work and you got fired. If you have a job and you're just like, oh God, what's going to happen? If you need her to say, I'm good enough, then that's going to be the agenda. That's going to turn into too much vulnerability in the victim. But if you know you're good enough, you just feel like shit. You just need a hug. You come home and you're like, you own it. You're like, I'm maybe the sandwich. I talk about sandwiches a lot. Like, hey, like, I love you, babe. And I'm really kind of scared to tell you this, but it's really a commitment of mine for us to be honest. Do you have a minute? Is it a good time? Yeah, it is. Okay. So I got let go today and I'm terrified that you're going to hate me. And what I really need is a hug. I'm okay. I got this. I'll figure this out. But right now God, I could just really use a hug. And that would be the king, after losing the battle, coming home to the queen, resting his head against her breast. And that's her way of just loving him home. She's not trying to fix him. He's not broken. There's nothing wrong here. It's just part of being human. Now, too much vulnerability would be like, oh my God, she's going to maybe, okay, what, I'm going to come home and say, hey, it's no big deal. I'm fine. Like whatever, or not tell her even, or something like that. Or go, babe, I need you to pick up the slack. I need you to go out and find a job. Like all those other ways would be like not sitting in the fire and just being real and being vulnerable and intimate with her. Did that make sense? Was that a bit of a distinction between the two ways of being?
Is there light behind my head? Because I feel like all these light bulbs are going. No, I'm serious.
Okay, good. Good.
No one has ever come on the show and explained it quite like that. And as you're explaining it, like I'm playing these things out, like I'm like, okay, how would I feel in that situation if somebody was saying that to me, or how would I feel saying it? You know, how is it actually being received if I've said that in the past? Because I have said those things like in the past. Yeah. I'm like, oh crap, like that was not my intent. Sure. But it's good to know that. It's really good to know that. On the flip side, what do men most need from women?
Oh, because I was like, you're reading my mind. This is so good. We're reading each other's mind. Because if I was coaching the women, and this was actually a very interesting unconscious competence I have that became a conscious competence when it got pointed out to me in this workshop that I was in. Somehow the gentlemen in the audience voted that they would be on an island with me for 20 years because they knew I would bring out their purpose. Like how standing on a stage, they can like choose women, 25 women, they chose the ones that could do that. But when we started to unpack it, they said, I don't know what it is about Allana, but if I lost my job, she wouldn't, cut my balls off and emasculate me. I just know that about her. And I went, you're right. And then I looked inside, I'm like, well, how did I do that? I kept my heart open in the face of fear. I'm keeping my heart open in the face of trauma. I'm keeping my heart open. How did I learn that? My 12-year custody battle that I went through. Not so fun. Okay. I was very humiliated, shamed, threatened, made wrong. And I shut my heart, which made me justify and defend myself, which made me look guilty, even though I wasn't. And I learned to keep my heart open in the face of anything and know my worth, no matter if they agree or not. Know my truth, no matter whether somebody agreed or not. I learned how to keep my heart open in a fire. So if a gentleman comes home and a husband comes home and he's lost his job, most women would be afraid. Normal. Okay. Oh my God, who's going to pay for the rent? How are we going to eat? Like that's normal reaction to shut your heart in fear, to go up into your head as a wife and go, well, you better get another job faster. Or what did you do? You probably were a jerk at work. Or that would be the example of a closed heart. So her job, I would say to her, hey, if he ever comes home and shit hits the fan, your job is to go and open your heart, which is terrifying. Terrifying because we as women surrender to you. We let go of control. We can totally be in control by ourselves. We can totally do the masculine thing ourselves. But if we're going to surrender in a relationship to you and you've got our back and all of a sudden you fall down, it is terrifying for our well-being. So we have to be so brave as women to go with our heart open. Breathe through our heart, count to 1, potato, 2, potato, 3, potato, and feel God, feel the universe, feel compassion, feel empathy, feel ourselves, hold our own little you. Our own little you is terrified. Oh my God, what's he going to do? Can he pay for the rent? Like calm her down inside too. This is all happening in like 2 seconds flat. Breathe, open heart and go, oh my God. When your heart is open, a woman would say, oh my God, how do you feel? Oh my God, that must be awful. How are you? She would be so full in herself, open-hearted, connected to little you within herself, connected to God, the universe, the field within herself. She could actually be there for you. Come here, you probably need a hug. She wouldn't close her heart, go into her head, go into fear, go into control, go into blame. She wouldn't do that. So that's her job in the face of anything. Or when your child comes home and the police have brought him home or her home, right? Like, oh, okay. What are you going to do when something happens to your kids? Are you going to close your heart, blame the kid, try to look good to the police officer? Or are you going to open your heart and look at your child who's done their best? Something's just gone awry. Stay connected, stay heart connected, stay intimate. It's another form of intimacy. It's another form of vulnerability. Hey, how you doing? Come here. You're probably really scared. I got you. I love you. It's the same skill set. It's the same skill set of the moment that you're in the bedroom having sex and then you try something a little kinky and the other partner freaks out. What are you going to do? Close your heart, blame them, have, no more erection and walk out of the room? Or are you going to open your heart and go, hey, that was a little kinky, wasn't it? Ha, you're right. Didn't even warn you for that one. Okay, let's just breathe. I'm here. I love you. It's all good. Okay, how you feeling? I'm right here. Like, it's the same skill. It's the same skill everywhere we look, which is efficient.
Damn. I mean, seriously.
It's good shit. It works.
It is. And what kind of cup you got going on there? What is
It's a big cup.
For those of you guys who are audio only, you can actually go check out this particular podcast. Go check out the Good Dad Project on YouTube. I've got this there too. You can see this crazy cup that Alana.
I really like pottery and collecting mugs. So.
Yeah. So let me recap that real quick.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, he's not married, right? I don't know. I don't keep up with Bradley Cooper, but
he's the Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Guy dude, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't he like start dating her or something, or is that just what they see in magazines?
He did. Okay, so tangent on that. Let's time out. Here we go. All right, so this was like 5. So I've been with my wife for 23 years. Like I said, been married for 16 years. We've got a really good relationship.
Nice.
And I think we have a good relationship because of the things that you're describing.
Yes.
Like, I can honestly say, I mean, I met her in college. I can honestly say I thank God for this podcast and this movement, because I was not nearly as evolved as I am now. So I did make those mistakes early on. But one thing she's always been is that woman that you just described.
Oh, I'm so
and
happy.
She's great. So she always asks me, she's like, why you love me so much? Because she's always like, you love me like they love in the movies. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And she's like, why do you love me so much? And I was like, and I'll name these things. Like, I was like, you're so giving of your time, your talents, and generosity. You're amazingly beautiful. You don't even know how beautiful you are. You're kind. You're there. And then one day it hit me. This was the biggest thing. I was reading this article. I think it was in GQ or something like that. They interviewed Bradley Cooper, and he was dating somebody serious at the time. And the interviewer said, I'm sure you have women that are like throwing themselves at you at all times. Like, how do you stay faithful to this person? He's like, that's easy. And they're like, how's it easy? She makes me feel like I'm her man. And she makes me feel like I'm her man and I'm masculine. Yeah. And I looked at my wife and I showed her the article, and I was like, that's it. I was like, I've dated women in the past. I've been in long-term relationships, and there's always been that small element in every relationship I've always been in where there was some demasculation that was happening. Yeah. And that the older I got and the more I didn't know that stuff at the time, but anytime I got a hint of that, I was gone. I was like, man, I'm not dealing with this. Yeah. Because I was in a relationship like that for a long time when I was younger, and I hated it and I couldn't understand what was going on. My wife has never done that. And I always tell her, I was like, I love you for several reasons, but one of the reasons I love you so much is because you make me feel like I am your man. And when I come to her with something, she responds exactly like this. She's like, I'm not sure. I'm not really worried. I'm not worried. I don't understand why you're worried. You got this. You always have had this. Like, you got it. You're fine. And immediately that was just like, all right, that's all I needed. Like, I'm good. But just things like that where I hear the stories of so many men that come and do life with us in our community. And I've heard like how some women talk to these men, and I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Yeah. And follow-up question I have for you. Let's just say a guy's dealing with that to some high degree right now, or let's just say on the other end of the spectrum, he's dealing with it to a low degree, but it's just like, I don't like this. Yeah. Going back to how we communicate desires and be open, that man is usually, as you know, is probably really afraid. Like, well, I can't talk to her about this because she's just going to demasculate me more. Right. So how do we express like, hey, what you're doing, like, it hurts. Like it really hurts. Yeah.
So I'm like teary right now as you're talking, because I'm so fucking grateful that you and your wife are who you are and you're sharing this information of what's possible with people. I'm so grateful for me and that I'm doing this work, because this little you work is how she is who she is with you. I don't know how she might have like had a lot of good lifetimes and a lot of good karma. Maybe she had a great coach. Maybe I don't know what it is, but her capacity to stay connected to her little you and to the universe, God, whatever word she uses, in the face of any circumstance, allows her to awaken your grandeur. And I mean that literally. There is an energy in you that a woman who's conscious can awaken in a man. A woman who's centered can awaken in a man. There's something only men can awaken in men. I get that. But my practice, my job, I get to be that presence for many men who have never had a woman not judge him and believe in him, not his mother, not his wife or his ex-wife or anybody ever. And I get these moments of magic where I get to give him the experience of being believed in without judgment. And I mean it. And this energy flows literally through me into his heart, heals it. And he is his, I call it a noble badass. He becomes a noble badass. It's the beauty that we're here to give. I get to give this to my son. He called me 2 nights ago. Oh Lord, the things he comes up with. And I am able to stay present. So you want to drive to Vegas on a learner's, right? And you want to pick up a girl because she doesn't want to live with her mom. And you're going to go with who to drive? Right. Tell me more. As opposed to, you're going to what? What? I go, really? Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the conversation, because I was able to stay present and love him and ask him questions, he goes, Mom, you're the voice of reason. I just love calling you because you're the one who never judges me and you get me back on track and all the answers are inside and I couldn't find them, but you asked me the questions and fist pump to you, Mom. Love you. Bye. And I'm, of course, then I lose it and I start crying, but like I'm awakening his grandeur. Your wife is awakening yours. And it breaks my heart that many wives of the men listening to this haven't had this skill. Nobody taught me. I was a bitch or I was a scared, whatever, crazy person until I wasn't. Okay. So I'm not like perfect, but the idea is this is a learned skill to come home to ourselves, to have an intimate relationship with ourselves, to soothe our little you, to be at one with the field or God, and to be our best selves for each other. Because you can awaken her, whatever we want to call it, radiant goddess. You can, in a way that no one else on the planet can. And every relationship that's listening, we can be that for one another. So back to your question of what do you do when you want to say this? And all you know is emasculation from her. It is to be more vulnerable than she is in that moment. And it's going to go one of 2 ways. You're going to say, hey, put it in a sandwich. I know I haven't been the perfect husband, or I know I'm always doing my best, but can I just be straight with you, love? When you speak with me like that, it really hurts. And it would mean so much to me if you could XYZ. Would you be willing? Like that's brave. Now, hopefully that'll wake her up. Don't do it while she's making dinner, taking care of the kids, helping with homework and doing all the rest of it. She won't be present. But in a moment where you really set her up to win, have that authentic conversation with her and invite her goddess. And if she still won't, when you're that vulnerable and that brave, it's time for some counseling because you guys need some help because it's not okay to be emasculated. It's just not okay to be abused. It's just not. And that might be a self-esteem issue that we need to work on, that you deserve better and that we can create better and that it's only her wound talking. And is she willing to do the work to heal her wound so the 2 of you can grow together for you, for each other, and for the family? But not to go, well, I just can't say that because she's always going to be like that. No, that's being a victim. Come on, let's be braver than that.
So you mentioned the environment, like, hey, don't do this when dinner's being cooked or with the kids. What is the ideal environment?
Well, there is no ideal environment because there's always going to be 10 million things going on. But when she's in her happier place and when she's in her don't fuck with her place. You just know that. That's pretty obvious. End of the day is probably best. Give her a foot rub. Say, hey, I'd love to chat about this kind of idea. Set her up to win, just as I would ask her to set you up to win. Don't call you in the middle of a busy day and say, hey, I really need to talk. Like, come on, you're busy. Like, don't do that. Honor each other. Use your intuition. It's not that hard. You guys know. Or just wait for the weekend and ask your friends to take the kids and go for a walk. Create it. But again, no excuses there. You guys can figure it out.
I love this. We've gone in so many different directions and directions I didn't expect, and I'm so glad we did. I'm going to ask this question back to you, and that is, what did we miss? What do you really enjoy talking about? You're like, we should have covered this one last thing. What would that be for you?
I feel like I'd like to come back like once a month for the next year and talk about stuff. If I tap into what I think would really make the biggest bang for the buck, and this is being aired live, right? So it's now, so the holidays are coming. It's a time of greater trigger with our family wounds. It's a time of, did I really accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish this year? It's an opportunity to blame self or other, or to lean in and see the opposite. Remember, every moment has equal support and a challenge in it. That's actually scientifically proven. So there's support of the family coming over for the holiday, and there's challenge. There is what you did accomplish for the year, and there's what you didn't. There is, so if you could proactively choose to see the gift in your crazy mother-in-law, if you could choose to see the gift in what you didn't accomplish, maybe you said you wanted to accomplish it, but really it was your ego and it really wasn't your truth in the first place. Or maybe you really need support and a mentor and a mastermind like yours next year, so you damn well get done what you said you were going to do. Like, I don't know what it is, but instead of going into the year in the wave of depression and fakey fake, like just drink enough eggnog so we don't have to think about our problems. Like, instead of going unconscious into the holidays, go consciously into the holidays, bravely sit in the fire, tell the truth, focus on the good. And if you need to put more structures into place, do so. If you need to forgive yourself, do so. If you need to, put more date nights in with your beloved, do so. If you need to speak up and be authentic about when you really desire sex, then do so. And I'd say one last thing on that. Women love sex, by the way. We like to have lots of it. We might have this like bad rap that we don't like it as much as you do, but that's absolute bullshit. What we just require is safety. We, in general, conscious women who aren't just like in our heads getting off on some fantasy, like real conscious women that want intimacy, require safety. So if you want more sex, how can you make her feel more safe, more seen, more understood, more held, more able to surrender? If you can do that, you're probably going to get a lot more sex.
I was going to end the show, but we got to open up that can of worms right now. So I've, again, several guests on the show. We've never broached this topic of how do you make your woman feel more safe? And I think you alluded to it earlier with the certainty, right? But could you name some tactics on just what we as men usually just completely, it's like oversight. We don't even realize it's there and it's staring us right in the face, and it's something simple.
So I would say being in your body or in your head. So when she's busy in the kitchen, busy with the kids, busy doing something, and you just stay away from her, but you really want sex, have you ever tried to like take a breath into your heart, into your balls, into your legs, into the center of the earth, going up to her, putting your hand in the small of her back, saying, hey, I'll wrap these later for you. I got you. Hi. I don't know what you're going to say. Like, just be there with her. Just be present in your body. Let her feel your heart. Let her feel your pelvis. Let her feel your rooted legs like tree trunks into the center of the earth. Let her know that you feel sexual energy, but it's not just Bow-Chicka-Bow-Bow. It's Bow-Chicka-Bow-Bow and heart. And I see you. And I respect you. Like, put all those energies, penetrate her 3 ways. Okay? Through your eyes, through your heart, through your pelvis. Just be with her. Just stand there. Just let her start to soften. No, I'm busy. Don't go anywhere. Be there with a cute little smile on your face.
All right. Question.
Yeah.
Question. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm physical touch, words of affirmation. That's my love language. My wife is acts of service and quality time.
Okay.
And so if you look back on like been together for 23 years, if you look at the first like 15, 16 years of our relationship, I really didn't understand that. Yeah. And I'd always try to love her with physical touch, right? And sometimes I had an agenda and sometimes I didn't.
Okay.
And so when I would go up behind, like she would be doing the dishes, and I would just go up behind her, and I would just kind of gently put my hands on her hips, and I just kind of kiss her on the cheek. I noticed she would just kind of tense just a little bit. And what
Because
I
she, uh-huh.
no, go ahead. What? Like,
Because she feels the agenda, and you're
yes,
loving her the way you want to be loved.
exactly, exactly. The agenda. Plus, I don't know if I told you this or not. We have 4 boys, so my wife constantly, and she's told me this, and I know that she's like, I feel like every male in this house needs something from me at all times, right?
I can still get that.
So what I do now, and it's helped a lot, is I just communicate. You know, I mean, sometimes I have an agenda, but I would say probably 80% of the time I don't. I'm just naturally physically affectionate. So what
Yeah.
I'll do now is I'll add in just one little thing, and that is I'll still do the same thing, but I'll whisper in her ear, I don't want anything from you. I just want to tell you I love you.
Mm.
And that's it. And what I've noticed is that softens her. Like
Oh,
she's
stunning.
good. How else, besides that physical touch where you mentioned the heart, the eyes, the pelvis, all that, how else can we provide that environment of safety?
Yep. Be 3 steps ahead of her. Be 3 steps ahead of her, knowing what would make her feel safe, seen, and supported. Oh, get up 30 minutes earlier and wrap the presents. So she wakes up and the presents are wrapped. Get home 30 minutes earlier, or tell the boys to put like a tape over the sink so she can't do the dishes because you're going to do them. Like, think ahead of what would make her feel, oh my God, he was thinking of me. Oh my God, he's here to support me. If she's acts of service, what acts of service can you be 3 steps ahead of to provide for her, so that that softening, that opening occurs? If that's the way in which she receives love the best. Or what was the other one she likes? Acts of service. What was it? Gifts?
My wife,
Yeah.
acts of service and quality time.
Quality time. Okay, so do you plan the next getaway for the weekend to wherever? Have you ever done
Do
that?
I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So more of that. And it can just be like, hey, on the porch, 9:30 tonight. Be there. Red dress, no underwear, unless you live where it's really cold. And then you have to wear like, I don't know where you live, right? But like, even just simple little moments like that. Text her. Let her know that she has something to look forward to open and surrender and relax into, to feel safe and seen. However she likes to be loved. Yeah? No? You're looking at me weird.
No. Everything you're saying, all good. Everything you've told me is really, really clicking, because my wife, when you talk about surrender, safe, all that good stuff, nothing means more to her than reprieve,
Yeah.
to where like, hey, the thing that means most to me is when I don't have to be mom. And so like, there are times where I'll call her friend, her best friend. I'm like, hey, Jill, what are you doing this Friday? Oh, you don't have any plans? Okay, well, you both have plans now, because I'm going to book you both pedicures and then go out and get drinks and go have a good time.
Stunning.
My wife comes home so refreshed after things and here's the other thing too.
Yep.
I honestly don't have an agenda. Like, I'm not looking to get laid. I mean, honestly, I'm not looking to get laid. I'm not looking, but here's what I notice. When she's better, we're all better.
Yes.
Because she's not carrying around that tension.
Yes.
Like I always tell her, she carries this look when she's stressed, and she's not one of those people that is victim. She's not one of those people that's like, oh, I have so much going on. I don't even know.
Yeah.
She's just like kind of like that. Like, she's stressed. I'm like,
Keeping it together. Yeah.
right. I was like, I see the look. I see
Yeah.
the look, and when she comes back, the look's gone. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, I got to breathe. I got to take a breath.
Yeah.
I have thoroughly enjoyed this.
Good.
Probably one of my favorite shows I've done in 4 years.
Oh,
This has been, and Tommy and Kevin, they threw their votes in that this needs to be a monthly show. So we got that going for us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So as we wrap up here, where can men find all the great work you're doing to get maybe more connected to you and what you're doing?
Yeah, there's a complimentary report, kind of what I was alluding to, how to be a noble badass. You find it at gethertossayyes.com. It's just right there. Put in your name and email, and that's a great place to start. I have a huge YouTube channel, lots of Q&As I answer every single week for people. You will be on my podcast, so I have hundreds of episodes there. And then in the next couple weeks, my site is being upgraded, my alanapratt.com, and there's going to be an intimacy blind spot assessment. So that's coming during the holidays. So just stay in my world and I'll continue to love you.
I have a request for you if you're cool with it.
Please.
So here's my request. We serve 350 men in our Dad Edge Mastermind. We bring on, anytime we have a podcast guest that, man, like we really, really resonate with, and we know that the guys would really dig. I would love to bring you on for a Q&A. We have anywhere for someone like yourself and the topic.
Yeah.
We would easily have 50 to 100 guys who would want to come and jump on. We'd do it for 60 minutes.
Great.
And they would fire questions right and left.
Oh, I would love it. It would be a total pleasure. Please. Yeah, that would be great.
Outstanding.
Yeah, this is my happy place to, shine lights in blind spots, believe in you. You already have it with what you're providing for her. And so just if everybody remembers, how can I be 2 or 3 steps ahead of her to make her feel more safe, seen, and supported in her love language, you're golden. You're golden. And that will be reciprocated in all the ways you desire.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yes, you right there. You are awesome.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I love what I do. Thank you for acknowledging me. I'm so grateful.
It's obvious you love what you do.
Yeah.
Guys, if you like what you heard today, head on over to gooddadproject.com/249 for this episode. We'll have all of Alana's links in the show notes, her YouTube channel, her website, all her resources and her assessment, everything that you possibly need. Again, gooddadproject.com/249 for this show. And Allana, from the bottom of my heart and the audience, thank you for coming on.
My complete privilege and honor. Thank you.
You bet.